I am completely off the Matt Ryan train. That was a train wreck last night.
Here's the problem when it comes to Matt Ryan. When I'm looking at the highest average salaries, he's right behind Aaron Rodgers. And when you pay a quarterback $30 million, there's a standard and a level of expectation that you want to see him play at. This was the problem I felt like Julio Jones had. When you look in the locker room and you look at Matty Ice and you expect him to be an elite quarterback, but we all know that he's not one of the VIPs at the position. It is hard. It is hard for everybody, even the offensive coordinator, to validate him as a $30 million quarterback when his game is not that.
Look, I'm not throwing in the towel on Matt Ryan. I've never called him an elite quarterback. I think he's a really good quarterback, more than capable of getting the job done.
Yes. But we pay top dollar for the quarterback. The quarterback is supposed to make everything right. When you're in that high cotton, that $30 million, you don't have your Twitter off, but you're supposed to be the Febreze. You're supposed to make everything that stinks smell good. Matty Ice, when they wrote him that check, the expectation is he makes everything better. It doesn't matter who's around him. He has to get it done. If not, why are we paying him?
I hear you. And my frustration with Matt Ryan has always been in the red zone. That's been his Achilles heel his entire career, the red zone efficiency. My issue with Matt Ryan is he can't extend the play and improvise and play backyard football. That's what separates the Russell Wilsons, the Aaron Rodgers, and those
30.
guys like that.
But don't give him $30 million now.
The clock management was off. The play calling was off. The Falcons looked like that guy or gal that you went to high school with that was the biggest idiot on the planet that you then saw at the 10-year reunion a decade later.
Where are you going with this?
That you saw at the reunion a decade later, and they didn't advance a day. They didn't improve a single bit. There wasn't a single ounce of maturing. It was the same idiot you went to high school with.
The quickest way to ensure that you'll lose a ball game, Skip, is to turn the football over. The second way, and a fast way to lose a ball game, is to kick short field goals. And that's what we've seen from the Atlanta Falcons is that over the next 2-3 weeks, they should work on nothing but red zone. Because what we saw, Skip, last year, they had an opportunity to win the game, 4 cracks inside the 5-yard line, and they come up empty-handed. Last night, 7 cracks, and they come up, they kick a field goal, they get snuffed on one, and then Matt Ryan throws the ball up in Philip, where is he throwing the ball, Skip? Does he think Julio is Kareem?
He's a really nice guy. Met him, been around him. There's no better guy than Matt Ryan. But he's still that same guy that I can't quite figure out how he won the MVP. He's still that same guy that I do not trust to make the play to win the game, especially a Super Bowl game when you give him a 28-3 lead on Tom Brady. And he's still that guy whose body language I never quite trust in the pocket because he still looks a little skittish, to your point, and he'll still take the wrong sack at the wrong time in the wrong red zone at the wrong moment, right?
Wow. They have Julio Jones in the slot, and he's double. You see Sanu. Sanu runs like he stutters the guy and runs the slant route. But Matt Ryan had already made his mind up. I'm throwing this ball to Julio, even though he can see they got it banjo coverage, what we call banjo bracket. They got him double team. They're playing him in and out. Take Sanu on the slant coming in behind him. The guy's going to run out of there. So basically use Julio as a clear. And now you got Sanu playing one-on-one. And come on, Matt Ryan. Skip, he's too seasoned of a guy. He's too good of a quarterback to make these kinds of mistakes in this situation. This is unacceptable for someone of his ilk.
Coming into the game, you score 20 or more, you win. You score less, you lose. You have the same requisite weapons that you had last year when you won the NFC title. The same crew that you went to the dance with were all there with you. The only new face is your offensive coordinator. You got 10 years in the league, in excess of 41,000 yards passing. You're the reigning league MVP. All of this stuff is coming your way. I understand that the Eagles' defense is no joke. I understand that Lincoln Financial Field is hostile confines. I understand it. But your counterpart is Nick Foles. The Philadelphia Eagles were held to 15 points. And the reigning league MVP with Julio Jones, with Mohamed Sanu, with Freeman and Coleman and these boys at his disposal, put up 10 points. I'm looking at the quarterback. I know it's offensive coordinator, but he's in his first year. Don't tell me you don't have the clout to overrule him, to audible, or to do whatever you deem is necessary if you are Matt Ryan with that cachet. I'm looking right at him.
And Atlanta looked to me like a cliche, soft dome team. A team that, you know what, it is cold, y'all are hitting hard, we don't want to be out here.
That's a good point.
And it reminded me last year, they got to play they had the 1 seed, so they played every game in a dome, they played the Super Bowl in the dome, I'm not going to kill Julio for that. I'd like to see him make that play. He's one of the best receivers in the league. That's a potential game-winning, game-changing play. I get it, but he played well. Devontae Freeman, who I like, 10 carries for 7 yards. Like, you can't, you talk about this all the time. Football is not a game meant to be played in perfect conditions at all times.
No.
If it was, everyone would have a dome. Right. You've got to have a second gear. Philly was giving you this football game, and you couldn't take it from them.
We get to the Braves, but we're going to talk about these Falcons now. We ain't going to let go of that.
Okay, well, I haven't even been following football.
Really? I find that very difficult to believe. I find that very difficult to believe. High-powered offense, injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but overall, your Falcons look like they could do some things eventually, but that is not the case now.
Yeah,
Anyways, go ahead. Take your time.
I mean, I think that, just to be honest with you, man, just from my seat, it seems that Matt Ryan has some leadership struggles. You know what I'm saying? I think he needs to kind of take the role of responsibility of calling certain plays once they get, especially in the red zone area.
This is a very proud moment. Y'all ain't even put that in. This is a very, very...
Falcons is the same old story as far as underperformance on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah.
They're too good on the perimeter in particular and at the running back position to play like this, to not be able to score points. They should be in the top 5 red zone scoring offense. I mean, scoring offense and red zone TD efficiency, I should say. They should be top 5. That falls on a number of different people. You start with the head coach, you go to the coordinator, you go to the quarterback, and then on the other people who then have to make plays. It's a total all-encompassing failure that they didn't score, and they better get it right. Otherwise, I'll tell you what. Come January, we're going to be talking about them again as being too talented to be sitting at home talking about the playoffs and making guest appearances at ESPN as we're watching.
Where's the culpability lie in your mind when you think about the Atlanta Falcons and what it is? Because for me, it's at Matt Ryan.
Primarily, I'll tell you what, it's twofold, and I'm with you there. Twofold. I think it lies with the play caller and lies with Matt. Look, there are things that, as far as game planning and setting up how you're going to attack a team in the red zone in particular, one, the offensive coordinator comes up with that plan, runs it through the head coach. Then on Monday or Tuesday, the day off, late Monday, Tuesday, they present that to the franchise quarterback and say, look, this is what we're thinking about. And at this point in time in Matt's career, that's when he can say, okay, look, tell me what the first and second down plan is. Tell me what the third down plan is. Tell me what the special situations plan is. And in this case, he better be saying, what are we doing in the red area? So it falls on really those 3 guys. So the head coach approves it. The offensive coordinator finalizes it and calls the plays. And Matt, look, if you're making $30 million a year, there's no question. I know you've alluded to this. He has to say, I like this. I don't like this.
Exactly.
This is what I'm comfortable with. This is where I think we're falling short, and I can execute maybe this and this better than this and this. Then it has to flow on game day. Nobody can tighten up. People can't start forgetting about what you talked about, and they better just execute it. Because if you don't, what happens then is people start losing jobs. People start getting replaced. And don't think that Arthur Blank ain't sitting there going, wait a minute now.
I'm telling you right now, listen, no, Matt Ryan is not going to lose his job.
True.
And I'm not sure.
That's
and,
true.
And with Quinn and what he's established for himself, not just as a defensive coordinator, but taking this team to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, I think he's safe. I think Sarkisian will lose his job if they don't get it right this year.
I don't disagree at all.
Close and total drives and yards per play and time of possession. Whoa. Oh, here's one where they're not close. Third down efficiency. The Eagles' backup quarterback was 8 of 16. Matty Ice was 4 of 15. That's with Julio Jones. That's with 2 good running backs. That's with a better than average offensive line. Matty Ice was ice cold, 1 for 9 red zone passing. Last night, once again, all I'm doing is waiting for Matty Ice to make a play. in a big game, and he doesn't. Super Bowl, had the lead, couldn't, fourth quarter. Last year, divisional playoffs, final play, couldn't. Last night, final play, couldn't. By the way, the Atlanta coach is in the first quarter. First drive of the game. Stay out there, Matty. Stay out there, Matty. You proved everybody wrong, Matty. No, he's proven me right. People get upset when I say, if you take out the one great year, Matt Ryan is Andy Dalton. He's closer to Andy Dalton than he is Aaron Rodgers, and everybody freaks out. But Andy Dalton has one great receiver, A.J. Green. Matt Ryan's got one great receiver, Julio Jones. They both have a defensive head coach. They both have a cooler nickname than they actually are. They've got decent arms, but not great. They can move a little, but they're not mobile. They have two other teams in their division, Steelers, Ravens, who are better organizations. You got the Panthers and Saints. Those are really good organizations. And what's the knock always on Andy Dalton? I can't beat the Steelers. And what's the knock on Matt Ryan? He can't win the game. Well, there was the one MVP year. Stop it. Kyle Shanahan makes everybody better. Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo have never lost a game together. I like Jimmy Garoppolo, but he would lose games with other coaches. I always say this with a real estate agent. If you're a real estate agent for 10 years and you have one spike year because you sell a mansion, somebody hooks you up, friend of a friend, you sell a mansion. Okay, that's great, but that's not who you are. Of the 10 years, who you are is the 9 other years when you sell nice homes. You're a solid real estate agent, make a nice living. You had that one spike year because a buddy hooked you up and you sold a mansion. Made a lot of money that year, but the next year you went back to, being a good, solid real estate agent. Don't give me his MVP year. Kyle Shanahan left. He came back to being, Matt Ryan. By the way, Matt Ryan, Andy Dalton, you put the numbers up. Take out the MVP year. Same darn guy. You just don't want to hear it. In the Super Bowl year with Kyle Shanahan, Matt Ryan scored 35 points or more 10 times. He's never done it once since. And he never makes the play. I saw Nick Foles make the play in the Super Bowl. I saw Case Keenum make the play in the playoffs against the Saints. I've seen Breeze and Brady and Ben. I've seen Cam make the play. I'm always waiting for Matty Ice to make the play.
Come one night, me. I need to hit it for the Cam one time on Spike Lee. I got the D like the Panthers. Yo, man, he lost it, he Romo. He cannot follow my steps, no. Kobe stroke on you, that's old ho. I got the stroke like I'm Steph, though. I'm spitting sick, I got strep throat. Leo my blood like we said so. Like we all winning the game.